finding where's comfortable for you. I invite you, if it feels safe to do so, to close your eyes or just looking down towards the floor. Your palms could be on your knees, they might be on your lap. Or if you want to kind of feel your body, you might wish to bring your hands onto your belly. And it could be one hand on top of another or just one hand on the belly, near the belly button. And to begin with, just allow your breath to be. Just take a few moments to feel the rise and fall of the body. Feel yourself grounded into the earth. So becoming aware of where you make contact with the floor or your yoga mat. Maybe using that exhalation breath just to let go of any tension. Autumn is a time to let go of anything that might hold you back or drain you of energy as we come towards winter. And you can breathe through the mouth or the nose. If you want to trigger a feeling of calmness, you can breathe through the nose, in and out through the nose. Sends a signal to the brain. Tunes into the vagus nerve, which travels from the belly all the way up to the brain, tapping into the parasympathetic nervous system, so you're calming feelings. And then just bringing your attention down to your belly. And allow the belly to push out. Or if pushing it out isn't the right word to use, just don't hold it in. Allow it to be soft and free. Allow the breath to expand down and towards the diaphragm, deep within the abdomen. And then we're going to work to elongate the exhalation breath. So maybe starting with a breath in of 3. And then seeing if you can slow that exhalation breath down to 5. Sometimes it helps to sigh lightly. Breathing in for 3, breathing out for 5. Just noticing that to elongate that breath, there's maybe a control of the belly, contraction of it pulling in. If you feel you have a larger lung capacity, then maybe you'll breathe in for 4 and breathe out for 6. Maybe going up to a maximum of breathing in for 5 and breathing out for 7. The deeper the breath you take in, the more your belly, your lungs, your chest, and your collarbone might rise. So just be aware of this. And you can sigh out if it helps, mouth open or mouth closed. With the mouth closed, it might sound like Ujjayi breathing. And then slowly allowing your breath in your own time to come back to normal, uncontrolled. And with your eyes still closed, or maybe looking towards the floor, bringing your chin towards your chest and just holding there for a moment. And then bringing your right ear towards your right shoulder, just gently. And then allowing the head to fall backwards through the back of the body, round for the left ear to the left shoulder. Chin towards the chest, right shoulder, right ear. Through the back of the body. So starting to work into this circular motion. You can move with your breath, or you can move freely at any pace that feels good. In Yin, there's no particular style of breathing, but it's about working with the breath or being aware of it like your companion. The more relaxed the body and the mind is, the more relaxed and calming the breath can be. And you decide how deep you wish to take this. Where does it feel good? Maybe just noticing the weight of your head. And then when you're ready, starting to take it in the opposite direction. You can pause first. You can start wherever's comfortable for you, taking it the opposite way. All the time feeling grounded, connected to the earth. And then we're slowly bringing yourself back towards neutral. And just sitting with yourself. Tapping into the feelings in your body. Tuning into your mindset or where your thoughts are, how busy your mind is. And just being aware of it. Not asking you to do anything or change anything. Just become aware of yourself. And then when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. We've had them closed for a few minutes, or quite a few minutes now. We're going to do a couple of windshield wipers just to bring some movement back into our lower half. So if you've got the space to lean back, take your hands back behind the body, untwist or take the legs apart from however you were seated, and just allow them to gently fall side to side. They don't need to hang out there. Allow the spine to twist, so allow the movement to come all the way through the body, maybe up towards the chest and the shoulders, side to side. Again, trying for your practice this evening just to really tune into how your body's feeling, or your connection to all the movements, direct experience, or ultimate present moment experience. And then when you're ready, taking the legs out to a V shape. We're not going to keep this V for too long at all. I'm going to mirror you for this because I'm facing the camera. So I'm going to take my right foot in towards my inner thigh, but just gently. It doesn't need to touch. Finding a comfortable position. Maybe you need something underneath the knee just to let it sit up so it's not falling straight to the ground. Maybe you've got really tight calf muscles or hamstrings, so you could pop a block underneath that extended leg at the knee, at the back of the knee, allowing it to be soft, allowing the ankle to be soft. We're going to take a little side bend here. So I'm going to take a block just beside my knee. I need to move the one that's underneath and just take my elbow onto it and take my head. So this would be your kind of beginner's position. You could change the height of the block, maybe if you want to feel more of a bend, or you could take the knee onto the actual leg. Or possibly you don't need the arm to hold you. You have enough movement to be able to fall here comfortably. My opposite hand or my right hand is just sitting at the front, but you might wish to just tuck it behind. I sometimes tuck it into the back of my trousers just to give it something to hold on to or to keep it in place. It just changes a little bit of the feeling. So be creative here, play about with it, take it to the lap, take it up and over. Just play about with where that arm needs to be to allow this hold to be your hold. And once you're there, you could close your eyes. We'll be doing seated postures for the first half, and then lying down on belly or back for the second. And as you're here, I invite you or encourage you to take yourself through a journey into your own body, out of your head. So rather than a mind feeling, taking yourself down to where you make contact with the floor or where your hands or elbows make contact with the rest of the body. Just become aware of what's making contact with what. Sometimes in yin, it's really nice to be working to introduce gentle stress into the body, but doing it in a way that feels good. So if you're not holding your head up and it's starting to feel heavy, give yourself permission to move, to make it less heavy or less tension held. Notice pressure points in the body. Notice where there's compression. Bringing the breath to any areas that might be niggly or causing your attention to be drawn to them. Bringing the breath there to create space, to take that acute feeling away. And to come out of the pose is just as important. So if you have the arm up and over, bringing it back down towards the lap or the floor. If you're holding your head up, maybe taking the hand away, but don't lift up. Fall towards the center so that you can breathe out. Then as you start to sit up, it's more of a natural movement into the spine, less muscle usage to drag you back up. From here, we're going to take that right foot out, about as wide as the left, maybe popping a block under the knee if you've got one there. So maybe mirroring what's happening in both legs, or maybe not. And this is where sometimes it's nice just to have a cushion. We're going to take just a little bit of a forward flexion. So going from the side, we're going to go forwards, creating some space across the lower back, just releasing a little bit into the last position that we had. So finding what allows you to either sit upright and let the head drop, or maybe allowing the body to fall forwards into this space. Again, try not to hold any tension in the legs. They don't need to be too wide. You could bring them much closer together and rest your arms on them, a bit like a kind of wide leg caterpillar. So as I said, we're moving into autumn, which is the metal energy or metal element energy. So it's this slow progression as we go inwards, working our way towards winter, the ultimate yin season. The energy of this season, though, more than any other, supports us letting go. So this could be letting go of the waste, the old, the stale things in our lives which bring us no joy. Allowing us to feel renewed. Or granting us a better view of ourselves without this emotional baggage hanging on to us, bringing us down. But because of this, the metal element is also seen as the emotion of grief, of losing something. So as we think of things that we might wish to let go of, this too can then bring on feelings of grief, of losing a part of ourselves. And this is a natural feeling. Trees lose their leaves. The earth starts to consume the fruits of summer. All of this is the renewal for once we get past winter. So slowly, in your own time, starting to bring yourself back up towards your seat. Just take your time, use your hands if you need to walk them back towards the body. Sometimes it's that feeling of the sit bones And then the breath coming back into the body, straightening of the spine. Or mine, it's a slight kind of popping of my sternum, strangely, just the release of energy. If you can, take your hands to the back of the knees, bending the legs towards you, but lifting them so that you're not putting any undue pressure onto the actual legs or the feet themselves. We're going to windshield wiper side to side again. So back to that same internal and external rotation that we started. And then we're going to move to the opposite side. So just being aware of where you've maybe felt or where you've been feeling the last couple of positions. If you're feeling it deep within the knee joint, maybe work to give a bit more comfort to the back of the knee. We want to kind of feel it through the length of the tendon, not all just in one position or one point of pressure. Okay, moving towards the other side. I should say as well, if you're on a wooden floor, you could always sit in a blanket if you're getting a bit colder. I'm probably going to have to go and close the window in a moment. So I'm going to have my right leg this time stretched out and pull the left leg in. Again, just finding what's comfortable for me. Maybe something underneath the side of the knee, maybe underneath the back of the knee. In particular, I am guilty of really stretching out this foot, and I'm a wee bit, I guess, double jointed into that knee, so it wants to push down the opposite way that it should be moving. So this block stops me, or stops my ego from taking over. Again, finding what's going to work for you. Do you need to have a block to take your elbow to and let your head rest on? Or can you take that down to the foot or closer to the floor? What do you want to do with that opposite hand? What's going to take it out of your mind and stop it being a confusion? Allow it to be part of the practice. So maybe taking it behind. If it goes behind and you really don't know what to do with it, I encourage you to try tucking it into your trousers. On the top of your waistband is what I should really say. And again, coming back to that feeling of grounding, where do you make contact with the floor? What parts of you are in touch with the floor or other parts of you? So again, we start to go through those motions, getting ready to move. If your arm is up and overhead, maybe bringing it down towards the floor. If it's at the back of the body, maybe moving it towards the front. Taking your head gently out of your hand or arm as it's held. And allowing yourself to fall into the space at the front. When you're ready, bringing yourself towards that seat. We're going to come to a straddle. So our beginning practice is working either side and folding forward. So maybe taking your feet a little wider, maybe not, maybe bringing them to the same kind of gentle V. Having a cushion, working the same way you did before, or maybe being different. But allowing yourself to curl, maybe fall forwards, maybe just rounding into the spine, allowing the head to be heavy. If you feel quite heavy this evening and you're falling towards the floor, you could always bring a block for your head. If you just want to take the pressure out of the back of the neck. It's amazing the weight contained in our head or our skull. There's sometimes in these positions where we're pulling on the neck rather than pressure pushing down upon it. We realize the weight, the strength of our own neck holding our head up all day. That pressure pushes down into the shoulders. Yin yoga is all about balance. For yin and yang, we're always trying to walk that middle line with our lives. Most of those who practice yoga find some balance at some point on the mat, whether it be their yang practice or their yin practice. Seasonal yoga or traditional Chinese medicine taps into these different energies of the season and the elements to bring balance to our lives. Metal element allows us to cleanse ourselves of grief, of holding on to things we no longer need in our lives. If we can let go or properly follow the grieving process, it leaves us in a more peaceful state of mind. We're no longer holding on to things that bring us down. This can allow us to feel less weighted towards the earth. And then again, we're going to work our way out. So maybe using the hands to push into the floor to give us something to help us up. Noticing the weight of the body changes, the gravitational pull changes as we sit up. Again, maybe finding our sit bones. Taking our hands at the back of the knees. We're going to lift the knees up this time. Now you decide, do you want to windshield wiper or do you want to lengthen your feet out in front and just shake the feet or let them move all the way up the thigh? You decide. Doesn't need to be windshield wiper. It can be side to side really quickly. I don't want to do the same thing tonight. They want to do quite the opposite. And then we're going to move down onto our bellies. So when you're ready, come down onto your your belly. You can grab a blanket if you wish, if you want a little bit of comfort. Sometimes at the pelvis, it's nice to have a little bit of support. Try and decide which way I will go. This way. And we're going to come towards open wings and broken wings, or broken wing. So this is going to work into our shoulders and some of our upper body. So tapping into the lung meridian in particular, and the large intestine actually, which both travel almost the same as our heart and small intestine, using the arms up towards the chest. You might also want to have a cushion or a bolster handy near your legs. You may not, you might find it's just to give you a couple of options. So we're going to do broken wing first, and then, no, we're going to do open wing first, actually. Now you can do this with one arm or both, but just coming towards a sphinx pose, or a gentle sphinx pose, up onto the elbows, creating a bit of space between the armpit and the floor. I'm going to take my right hand a little bit further forward, so I'm not mirroring you now, I'm just using my actual own left and right. I'm going to take my left hand under, reaching the arm away with the palm facing up to the sky. And if you've done this a few times with me and you know how it feels, you might wish to do double wing, which I'll show you in just a second. So we allow the weight of our body to come down onto that left shoulder, and we can bend into the right arm using the forearm as a pillow for our head. And we're not allowing the body to roll towards the left. We're keeping it static, kind of pushing straight down towards the floor. If you've done this a few times and you think you know it and you want maybe a little bit, I would only use the word challenge, but you want to work a bit stronger, you can reach the left under, and then you can lift up slightly and reach the right. So both, you're kind of pushing down onto both, not quite to the shoulder, but you need a block for your head. And you're trying to work it. And it can feel a bit enclosed. It can often feel a little bit suffocating as well. But it's just a different way of working both shoulders at the same time. And we'll swap halfway. But you decide. If you've done this a few times with me and you wish to, I don't think anyone's following me. I'm going to just leave you to do what you're doing. Why would anyone want to feel like they're being choked by themselves this evening? And it's these poses where we move onto our bellies that we really feel a different effect of gravity on the body and the breath. As we breathe out, we often feel like we melt or sink or fall towards the earth. If you get any pins and needles in the arm that's reaching away, feel free to adjust or move it to take away that feeling of pins and needles. It just means there's too much pressure in one particular area. Allow that exhalation breath to allow you to sink or melt. And just getting ready to move. Pushing down into the right hand, maybe moving it slightly so you can push into the forearm and the elbow to lift the head and the chest up. Taking that left hand towards cactus. Maybe bringing both hands towards cactus and turning your head towards the right or looking towards the right, and just allow that left shoulder, left side, left front part of the body to melt into the floor. Sorry, the microphone got squashed there. And then bringing yourself back towards a gentle sphinx, lifting yourself up, looking to work to the other side. So leaning into the left forearm, reaching the right arm under so the right shoulder comes down, in particular the kind of deltoid side, so kind of where it goes from the shoulder to the arm, or the shoulder line to the bicep. Again, finding where's right for you here. If you did do double open wing, you're positioning the hands slightly differently this time. I don't think anyone did, though. If there's any discomfort in the kneecaps, in particular, you can lift the knees or lift the feet as if they're coming towards, the soles of the feet are coming towards your bum. So coming to a kind of mermaid's tail with the feet falling together. This takes away any pressure you might be feeling on the patella or your kneecap. And then again, that preparation to move usually starts with the breath, lifting of the head, pushing down into that left arm, lifting the body enough to pull the right hand out, maybe bringing it towards cactus, maybe taking the other arm to cactus, but turning the head to look towards the left. And just allow yourself to sink in towards the mat. If this is uncomfortable in the neck, you can just bring your chin. So then we come to broken wing. And I might have to show you on both sides so you can see what we're doing. So we kind of come back, maybe almost towards that Sphinx pose. And I'm going to reach my left arm straight out. So I'll show you with the right first. This is what it's going to look like. I'm going to face the opposite way of the arm that's stretched out. So I'm going to start it with my left hand and then take my right and just pushing into the floor, just lifting that right side of the chest up, pushing it back towards the left. This would be stage one with the knees bent, even bent right out to here if it needs to be, or both. Or maybe you grab the cushion and you can put that between your legs and you can allow that just to have some comfort with both knees bent, lifting the front chest up. Or you might wish to take that right hand and reach for the right foot. And let the head come down to the floor and be even more relaxed. So the left arm's chasing away, but this left leg, because it's a bit higher, you could hold on to it. It just keeps this arm out of the way and it allows it to be less of a pushing force and more of a holding. You can also pop a block underneath your head if letting it fall to the ground is too uncomfortable, but holding it is too much as well. So when you hold the leg or you kind of lean and push back, we're putting gentle pressure or stress into that left shoulder joint. So it's trying to have the ability to let go of holding yourself. Maybe using that exhalation breath. Yin can sometimes teach us endurance as well, so that we know that nothing will last forever. You know you can come out of this at any point if it's too much. But what does it feel like to hold on, to keep breathing within the pose for a little longer? If it gets too much, you can always roll out of it. But what about one more breath? And then when you're ready, adjusting the feet with the right foot and the right hand first to give you that support to slowly roll back round onto your belly. Oh. And maybe take the right hand to cactus, but leaving that left hand long, but just softening. Moving to the other side. So I'm going to adjust myself on the mat. My right arm reaches out. I take my head to look towards the left. I could push into the left hand, lifting the left collarbone or left side of the chest up. I've still got the cushion between my knees with the knees bent. So this might be it, holding yourself here. Maybe you want to lift that left knee up. Or maybe you want to hold on to the foot, squeezing into the cushion. As the leg falls backwards, sometimes it just takes a gentle hold here. Remember, these are your postures to play about with. I'm trying to give you options, but listen to your body. What's within your reach? What feels like gentle stress that's challenging you, but not causing you so much discomfort that you're holding tension in the body just to be here. But this is a pose that can be really good at finding that cliff edge point where you're almost falling over into the discomfort, but you're just on the edge looking at it. And then challenge yourself to be here with stillness. Then again, working your way out. Maybe letting go of the foot if you were holding on to it, bringing that left arm back beside the body or the head. Slowly using it to support yourself, rolling onto your belly. Leaving the right arm straight this time, but just let the belly the chest, the front of the collarbones, or the clavicle if it's the actual bone we're talking about. And then we're going to slowly just work towards our last position before Shavasana. So maybe taking yourself back up to all fours. You might like to do a little gentle child's pose stretch or puppy pose through the arms. So maybe not taking yourself all the way down to child's pose, but just creating some length through the arms with your hips coming back towards your heels. I forgot to take the cushion out from in between my legs, but it actually feels quite nice. And then this is where you might need your blanket or a cushion. And I'll show you what we're going to do first. It's part of what I did on my Wednesday night Vinyasa to Yin class. So I'm folding the pillow over. For me, and I've got quite small hands, it's only about as thick as my four kind of fingers together without my thumb. And I'm positioning it on the mat so that when I lie onto it, it's kind of at the bottom of my shoulder blades, or kind of mid-back. If you put your arms out, it would kind of sit either side of the block. It's creating enough of a back bend that it feels like the front of my ribs and my chest are kind of exposed, or maybe exposed isn't the right word to use here, but my heart space is open, so it's creating a small bend through the back. Now, if you find this quite easy, you could then bring a slightly bigger bend by using a cushion. So you're rolling over here at this point. I'll move myself down a little. So if I hold it where it's meant to be, for me, it's kind of about here. So if I put my arm out, it's kind of near the top of my shoulder and comes to just underneath. And I'm reasonably flexible in the back. Some people would use a bolster here if they had a bolster, and that would give them a massive amount of height that they would fall kind of backwards. But for me, that's just too much. So find what works for you. If you're here and there's an uncomfortableness in your neck, you can pop a block at the back of your head and lift your head up. Your legs can be straight, your legs can be in a butterfly, or they can be nice and relaxed. Once you've been here for a moment or two, breathing in, maybe sighing out. Trying to let go of any of the tension. Your back sometimes in this position doesn't want to be here. It feels exposed or open to life. It's danger. It's an emotional feeling sometimes being here. Vulnerable was the word I was looking for rather than exposed. If you feel comfortable, you might wish to take the arms up and overhead, taking them behind the head, maybe bending into the elbows. They might come to the floor, they might sit on a block. Strangely, for men, this is really quite uncomfortable, or can be quite uncomfortable. We all have the same muscles in our back, but this is where men hold a lot of tension. But in everything I read today about fall and the metal element and letting go, this is the ultimate pose to surrender yourself, to let go of any emotions that are holding you back. If the arms up and overhead are too uncomfortable and you can't be still, take them back, take them through the side body. And allow yourself to soften over your support. And you decide if you wish to stay here for your Shavasana, then you can. If this isn't a comfortable position for you, then you can slowly roll to the side as if you're rolling off towards the left or the right to move your props and come to a Shavasana that is comfortable for you. Or you can stay here. Stay with these feelings or emotions, watch them. If you're still in a supported fish pose with the blocks or cushions or blanket under your back, and you're not sure if you want to go to Shavasana or not, we've got about another 3 minutes, so in case that helps you decide what you wish to do. If you're in Shavasana, just stay there. If you're still in supported fish, maybe slowly starting to bring your attention back. To come out, you want to roll over to the left or the right. So whichever direction you're rolling to, lift the opposite knee. You can stay in fetal position, or you can move your support, roll to your back for a moment. And then for everyone in Shavasana, just bringing your attention towards your body, where you make contact with the floor. Slowly working to reawaken maybe fingers and toes. If you've come back to seated, you can just close your eyes. There's no rush of where we're trying to get to. If you want to close the practice with me, you might wish to slowly bring yourself back towards a seat in your own way. And we're going to close tonight's practice chanting Om. And this is a chant to tap into the energies of the divine, but it's also an opportunity for us to give gratitude to each other, to those that have shared the practice with us tonight, and to ourselves. So bringing the hands maybe in towards your heart center in prayer, or maybe finding your heart spread open and wide. Taking that breath in towards the belly and the lungs. Thank you for sharing your Sunday night practice with me. I'm just going to hit stop on the record.